Hello and welcome to my latest vintage Star Wars video. So today we're going to be having a look at vintage puzzle, quiz and game books that were released for the original trilogy back in the day. I've got quite a selection of these. Some of them are fantastic, others are a bit, but I think they're interesting all the same. So without further ado then, please sit back, relax and let's get to it. Okay, so the first quiz book we're going to be looking through is this one, which is the Star Wars question and answer book about space. So nothing bad to say about this book at all. Obviously, it had the Star Wars sort of tie-in here, published by Scholastic, I see. But if this got kids interested in astronomy or space, through their love of Star Wars, well, what's to be said for that? Nothing at all. It's fantastic. So this one was printed in 1979, US edition here. Absolutely fantastic book, really. It's just got the facts of space and space travel with a Star Wars sort of bent on it, and absolutely fantastic. This is a good use of the Star Wars characters. Yeah, quite a nice little book, that one. I've come across a couple of these. They don't tend to be, because it's a bit fragile, they don't tend to be in nice nick, so you might struggle a little bit to get one of those, but still worth looking out. Now this next book is absolutely fantastic, and I've had this one since back in the day. This is notoriously difficult to find in nice nick, simply because of the way that the book's put together. So it's the Empire Strikes Back Mix or Match book. Now it's got lovely artwork in, on the whole. It's a US one published by Random House in 1980. And the way this one works is you've got these different flaps here, so it can create some crazy sort of stories. So you see this first one going along here. So R2-D2 was hiding behind a rock on the Tatooine desert when a Jawa came along and vacuumed him into a sandcrawler where old droids were stored. So that is absolutely fine. But you could go completely at random. So Luke Skywalker was crashing through the ice caves. The ice caves in Cloud City when a Star Destroyer approached, and then disappeared into space where the Imperials were preparing to attack. So as you can see, it is a mix and match. So all of these characters and the stories will actually match. So they've got their own version, which is the correct version, and then they've got like a weird version as well. So you can like mix and match and make up your own sort of stories as you go along. It really is quite a lot of fun. I believe there is a Boba Fett one as well, as I recall. Let's just have a little look here, because it's actually quite a fiddly little book to play with, as you can imagine. Yoda, so we've got Luke, Han, Chewie, Darth Vader, C-3PO. Here we are. See, look, Boba Fett is right at the back. So Boba Fett was climbing onto the platform in the carbon freezing room when Ugnaughts scurried by and prepared the chamber where sad farewells were said. There you go. What an epic book this is. It really is. But because of the nature of it and those little bits of cardboard, it does tend to get damaged very easily. So consequently, look at more than 200,000 combinations. So consequently, really nice copies are hard to find. I think you're probably going to have to pay, well, 15 to 20 pound for a nice one, and maybe a bit more. I've not really looked it up lately, but just so you're aware, it's worth tracking down, that one. The next one then is hilarious. It's the Jedi Masters quiz book, compiled by none other than Rusty Miller. And look, there he is on the back, Rusty Miller. I remember putting a question in Star Wars forum years ago, whatever happened to Rusty Miller, and he's still around, and I think he even replied personally. However, I remember getting this book and remembering that the some of the questions on this were really, really hard. I mean, absolutely tricky as anything, you know, but it is basically, yeah, a question and answer book. So you do got a bit crease there, you work your way through and look at the answers at the end. I remember having Look at this. So this is an American copy. That's quite interesting. Pikes Peak Books and Comics. Comics old and new. Dungeons and Dragons. Used paperbacks at half price or trade in 2 for 1. There you go. Look at that in the Carefree Centre, wherever that was. Doesn't give an address, but yeah, quite a nice little old paperback, that one. Quite hard to find as well in the UK. I don't think it actually had a UK printing, that one. Now, I'm going to put them to one side because the next lot is actually a bit of a series. And these are published by Happy House, and they came out for Return of the Jedi. And they do make quite a nice little set. 1983. Things to do and make. Now, as you know, I do like all sorts of Star Wars stuff. I don't just like the toys. I love this sort of oddball stuff, and I've got loads of boxes of various paperwork and things to show you of a non-toy variety, but I think it's still equally fascinating. So there's a few of these in this series. So we got this, Things to do and make. We've got a picture puzzle book, so you can imagine general quiz book there with R2 and 3PO on. The Monster Activity book, and these were 99 cents a pop, so not expensive by any means. And pretty good artwork in these, aren't they? Monster Activity book. You've got the dot to dot wicket on the front there. Always love a dot to dot when I was growing up. Mazes, Lando Mazes, look at that. Once again, I loved a good maze. So that's that series from Happy House, which is pretty cool. Now, the next couple are quite interesting because they're published by Kenner, the toy company. Now, I had no idea that they sort of did these ones. So there's 2 different colouring books. One of them's got Luke Jedi on, and the other one's got the Rebo Band on. So how cool are these? Both dated 1983. They both use that brilliant classic styling, almost like a card back. I wonder if these were supposed to be wrapped up alongside the figures, maybe. I don't know. Cool, that's a good page, isn't it? Look at that, all the shuttles there. How cool is that? Yeah, pretty good, aren't they? Oh, look. It's the same picture. That was a bit cheeky, wasn't it? I wonder if both books are the same. I don't know. But yeah, a couple of Kenner-related items, which maybe you didn't know about. Certainly they were, when I first came across them, I couldn't believe they were published by Kenner. So that's those. Now I've got a few more, still got a few more to show you. Let's pop these on here as well and put them to one side. You've got a Droids one now, which is the Droids colouring book. So another little colouring book. This is obviously to tie in with the animated show. Similar sort of thing, typical colouring book. This one from 1987, so that's probably the latest sort of colouring book I've got. Now we've got Star Wars word puzzles, crossword, secret codes, word searches, Random House. This is dated 1984. Cover illustration by Ken Barr. The usual sorts of things. They're pretty good illustrations inside there. I said this sort of stuff, although it's a bit offbeat and oddball, I love it. I think it's a bit of fun, and I did come across a Facebook group recently, which was Star Wars Beyond the Toys, and I tell you what, there's stuff on there that I just find fantastic. And then this is the very last one, which is once again a Droids one. It's the R2-D2 quiz book and C-3PO puzzle book. So they had to share that, published by Dragon. This is a British edition. It was 1987 again. It was $1.95. Sort of cheap paper inside. Incredible. In 1987, when you think this is, 32 years old now? There you go. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed looking through those vintage books as much as I did. Now, if you have enjoyed the video, do please give it a thumbs up. And if you've not already, do please consider subscribing to the channel for regular vintage Star Wars content going forward. Thank you once again for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye.